Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. This week we are discussing over 40 new and returning TV shows for their 2023 TV Release Extravaganza. Let's get on with the show. My name's Aaron Peterson. Joining me this week are my fellow host, John Davenport.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
I'm doing, you know what? We'll see how it goes. Troy Heinrichs.
Yo, what's up?
I don't know, dog.
But
It's almost Super Bowl time. Maybe they'll bring that one back again.
Hey, guys, everybody look. John has a new background on the video for the video people.
Well, they didn't see the last background, but yeah, new background. Oh, maybe they did. Who knows? Anyhow, yes, new background. I am in my new place, and I am all set up and ready to go. I'm back in Florida, and yeah, life is good.
Unfortunately, the new place doesn't make John any smarter.
That's hurtful.
What? That felt like a mean, sharp jab out of right field. I don't know what that was for. Apologize.
It's because he hates me.
Yeah, I was trying to help you last night. That's all I'm saying.
You say you were trying to help me. At some point, you're like sending me messages through the doc, and at one point, you put Shazam, Fury of the Gods, or Shazam 2 on there, and I'm like, God damn it, he just took that. And then next to it, you wrote something of like No Hard Feelings, which I thought you were trying to be a smartass to me because you saw me writing my notes. But it turns out No Hard Feelings is a movie we'll be discussing at some point tonight. So
next week,
seems a little insane.
Next week.
That's right. We're doing TV this week and movies
TVs
next week. So keep that up in your noggin.
That's because there's only like 20 movies, but there's like 5,000 TV shows.
Dude, I don't know why you feel that way. I found so many movies. Like, I feel like the release schedule for movies, I had to hold on to that, but there's so many great movies coming out next year, or this year. We're already there.
I didn't say there weren't great movies. I just said that there's so many more television shows. There's just too much content to watch.
Not that I'm interested in. I'm definitely still a movie guy across the board, but a lot of great TV, though. There's a lot of great TV. Whatever you want to watch. You don't ever have to leave your house. You don't have to put pants on. You can, whatever you need to do. Walk around in your underwear.
I have my wonderful TV that I used to have before. I have it back. And I've been watching a lot of TV all of a sudden, and it's reignited some of my love for some of the old shows because my TV... bigger? Well, my dad's screen was actually larger when I was at his place, but mine is that curve TV, which they don't even make curved TVs anymore. I guess nobody really jumped into that. But for whatever reason, the picture on this TV is absolutely gorgeous. Every time I put it on something, the colors are awesome. It just looks great, and I'm happy to have that TV back. Oh,
we should mention Amanda will be here eventually. We did some reviews. She couldn't make it for the TV portion. She will be on the movies next week, but she is here for reviews at the end where we review Megan, Skinamarink, and The Pale Blue Eye. But that's at the end of the show. We're going to just hop into television because there, like Troy said, there's so much TV. And I want to point out when we can, our Patreon feed will get exclusively the raw audio or the live video from our episodes, which means unedited, and video will go there first before anywhere else. We're trying to do that this year. So if you want to contribute and you want to see that unedited, which means you get more nonsense, go to patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. That's patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You can always find more information at thehollywoodoutsider.com.
I actually have an announcement when it comes to Patreon that I would like to make at the moment.
Son of a bitch. What?
I've gotten requests. Our friend Scotty Clark has reached out to me about reigniting the half-hour power hour. We're going to be doing a weekly show on the half-hour power hour for The Last of Us, and it's going to be a Patreon exclusive. And then beyond that, once the show is done, we are going to adjust the show into two episodes a month of the half-hour power hour. And what I want to do for that show is, starting now, if you have or want to make a submission to that show, and the way the show is going to move going forward is, yes, there'll be the occasional deep dive on a television show that's out that we will do, but as a bi-monthly part, whenever we're not doing that, you have a chance to enter an episode of a television show into the Hollywood Outsider archive. I want you to think about it this way. Whatever episode is the pinnacle episode of a television show that you think needs to be put into the archive, that's what you can present to us. You can make your case, and then the panel of people who are on that episode will also watch that episode of the show and give our reasons to make it part of the archive and or not. So it's going to be much more interactive than what we've done before, and I really want you guys to think about some great episodes of television that you think needs to be put into the Hollywood Outsider archive.
So basically, if I said I wanted you to watch Walkabout, Lost Season 1, Episode 4, then that's what you guys would talk about.
That's what we'll talk about, but you first have to create a recording for us to put on the episode where you're stating your case as to why it's the ultimate episode of that television show.
I like it. That's fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool. We're still doing bad movie night, so don't freak out. That's patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Now we're going to our weekly topic, which is what are the most anticipated new TV shows and returning of 2023. It's our release extravaganza where we're going to go through a bunch of shows. We're going to tell you as much as we know about them and then discuss. So Troy, you start us off. You're a TV maestro. What are the 5 shows? Now, I guess I should explain this. So with our lists, what we do is we took a poll in Facebook, and I'm sorry we can't do it on Twitter because Twitter doesn't have polls that you can do like this, so I couldn't do it. But
we're verified now.
We are verified, but in the same token, can't do polls. So you have to do it on Facebook. Sorry. But what we did is we did a poll on Facebook and got the top 10 shows that people were most excited about. Now on TV, a lot of it's returning shows. Movies, it's all new stuff. But
new stuff.
TV, a lot of seasons and returning shows. But we also have our top 5 shows. Now Amanda had some, but she won't be here. I'll leave it to anybody if they see them on there and they want to mention them on the format, feel free. But Troy, why don't you take us through your top 5? What are your top 5 most anticipated of 2023? Remember, take a breath between them. Take a breath between them. Don't just like rattle them off. We got to.
Oh, no. Because I think the first one is going to be a lot of conversation, but we had a big conversation about this. I was helping a friend move this weekend, and they were saying, do you have to watch certain things in the Star Wars universe in order to enjoy other things in the Star Wars universe? And people were like, I have no idea who Ahsoka is. And I just kind of was like, what? Like, how do you not know who Ahsoka is? Ahsoka's like huge if you're a Star Wars fan. There are apparently Star Wars fans who don't know who Ahsoka is. So Disney Plus this year at some time is supposed to finally tell us who Ahsoka is. Because some of us, that is, first met Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and then that character made her live-action debut by the wonderful Rosario Dawson in the 2nd season of The Mandalorian, which was freaking awesome. So they asked Rosario Dawson to come back. She's going to reprise the role in a live-action show for Ahsoka. It's written and co-directed by Dave Filoni from Avatar The Last Airbender, which means this is going to be the shit.
Stop it. You're being mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we talking about something important?
See, and this is why when John and I were editing the document at the same time, I took Ahsoka because John's like, I don't care. Star Wars overdone. Blah, blah, blah. This is the one that a lot of people have been waiting for.
Okay, so I'll give you some credit that I do want to see this show for at least one episode or two.
Oh, that's why you shit all over it when he was talking about it. That's a good plan. Yeah, I can't wait to see this thing.
Well, hold on. Rosario Dawson is the only reason why I want to watch this show. That's it.
It's Dave Filoni from Avatar. The real Avatar.
And Mandalorian.
Not the crappy Avatar that got stolen and completely ripped off the trademark, since we know the Fire people are coming now for the third movie.
What are these words you're saying?
Pay attention to stuff, man. This is one of the few Star Wars shows I'm actually excited for. I really am kind of sick and burned out on Star Wars. They've overdone it just like they did with Marvel, but I thought she was great when she dropped by the Mandalorian. I want to see what she has to offer. And Rosario Dawson, you really just can't go wrong unless it's DMZ, because that kind of went wrong after the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Yeah.
And the challenge, I think, with this one's going to be that it's going to have to take place because now we've seen, you could backdate her, I suppose, but I think they're going to have to continue where she left off from The Mandalorian.
I would imagine.
So it's going to be, pre-Force Awakens, post the end of Anakin Skywalker.
I am sick to death of the Skywalkers. Let's get away from Skywalkers. No more Skywalkers.
That's why we're seeing Ahsoka, one of the badasses.
Good, and watch Luke show up, and then I'm out. As soon as that happens, I'm out. All right, what else you got?
This one's actually quite interesting. It's called Citadel. It's going to be on Amazon Prime Video. It has become one of the most expensive shows ever produced.
Oh my God.
Just behind Rings of Power, most likely. It stars Richard Madden as Citadel agent Mason Kane and Priyanka Chopra as Citadel agent Nadia Singh, which is one reason that John's going to watch this show. It's actually created by the Russo brothers alongside Patrick Moran.
That's fair.
And it's basically a action-packed spy series with a compelling emotional center, and it's going to be a global event. So there's going to be a mothership series, and then they're going to create several local language shows in Italian, in India, in Spain, and Mexico. So it's like
That's cool.
a large enterprise in different parts of the country, but the world is going to be all interconnected through these stories back to the main show. All the local series are meant to enhance the entire entertainment experience, and it'll be available for the viewer to deep dive into this layered world. So I think it's a really novel concept when you're thinking about things like Bandersnatch and Kaleidoscope over on Netflix. This is a new way to kind of choose your own adventure in a way.
I like this. This sounds exciting. That's the kind of like, if you're going to drop, $6 billion on one TV show, well, at least make it innovative. There you go.
Yeah. Make 5 seasons at once and just call them CSI Italia, CSI.
Multiple languages. Yeah. And that's what it'll be. Citadel, Italy. Citadel, Spain.
John hopefully will be looking up for this one. This will be Gen V, also TBA on Prime Video, but this is the kind of prequel to The Boys. Since superheroes aren't always what they seem, the new spinoff is going to star Jazz Sinclair, Chance Perdomo, and Lizzie Broadway, where we actually get to see the superheroes from the point of view of Godolphin University, America's only college for young adult superheroes. So it is in The Boys universe.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited for that. And I'm also kind of, can they recapture The Boys though? I mean, I don't want the CW boys. That's what I don't want. I guess you could think of all the venereal diseases they can make penises explode through. I guess you could do that.
I was just going to say, if it's a CW, the penises will look prettier.
God. They'll be newer. They're newer. I don't know about
depends. Is it going to be the inside of the penis again? Because, I think it's just kind of trying to capitalize too much on the idea of The Boys. The Boys works because of the actors they have in The Boys, and I think this is when we're starting to go a little bit too far with let's make a spin-off show of this other show. So am I going to give it a shot for an episode or two? Sure, but I would rather give the time to something else that is more worthy of my time.
Like a soccer?
Just checking. Also, it sounded like he said a soccer.
I don't know. How do you say it? How do you say it?
Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Ahsoka.
I definitely didn't say it like that. I said it more like Japanese whiskey.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay.
You said Asaka? I went, what?
Saki? That's what I thought.
If it wasn't
I said.
for the,
yeah. My bad.
If it wasn't for the fact that I knew what you were doing, I would have. Actually, that's why, though, there was a brief pause there for a second before I started snoring.
Appreciate that. I like when you actually.
That sounds like snoring. Sounds more like a baby or something like. Well, this one is actually going to make a splash over on HBO Max, or might get canceled before it actually makes it there. But it's supposed to be coming later this year. It's called The Idol. It's going to be, due to a creative team alone, it's going to be pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. The Idol examines the complicated relationship between Jocelyn, played by Lily Rose Depp, a rising pop star, and Tedros, a.k.a. played by Abel the Weeknd. And so a self-help guru and leader of a contemporary cult is what Tedros is going to be. So basically they're all going to kind of like support each other. And then it's also got Troye Sivan and Dan Levy and Rachel Sennott. They're going to all be in this. And it's actually created by The Weeknd and Sam Levinson, who did Euphoria, and also Reza Fahim. So this is going to be probably like quality level of Euphoria, super creative because of The Weeknd. And obviously Lily Rose Depp playing Jocelyn is going to bring a whole other piece to this puzzle. So I'm excited for this one, to be honest.
Uh-oh. Nepo baby's in it. She got so much flack for talking about, it's not a thing. Well, that's a thing. Come on, relax. That actually looks really interesting. It'll be weird to see The Weeknd, because I just have a hard time calling, what's his real name?
Abel Tesfaye?
Okay.
Tesfaye?
All right. I'll just call him Abel. Because hey, look, it's The Weeknd, and I'm just looking for the door at work. I want out,
Yeah.
So I can't go with that. Can't do it. It's a dumb joke. Just don't give me any credit for that. Troy, what else you got?
Yeah, I really love how Troy and I weren't even going to try to rescue you from yourself either. We're just like, all right, well, he's going to hang himself.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Figured it's all the times that we've, hung ourselves. So we're just letting him take all the bait this time. Much like the people that are going to be taking the bait over in Copenhagen.
Nice segue.
That's right. Because
what the fuck are you doing right now? Knock that off.
This one actually dropped already on January 5th on Netflix, and this is kind of like my quest to try to get more foreign Netflix television shows and films in my 2023. This one's actually coming from director Nicholas Winding Refn, which did Pusher and Drive and The Neon Demon. Back with this neon noir series that returns to his native Danish tongue. Angela Budalovic navigates the Copenhagen criminal underworld while on a quest for vengeance against her nemesis, Raquel, played by Loa Corfixen. Nebulous supernatural elements also merge with this rivalry to show both women something entirely new. So it kind of feels a little bit like a Killing Eve, but they're both kind of fighting each other versus trying to partner with each other. So it's like the opposite. But then the fact that they're going to have to work together against these supernatural changes, it's pretty interesting so far. I'm about 15 minutes in on the first episode, and it's got me hooked.
I don't want to see it. Sorry. But I hope people
because it's subtitled and you got to read subtitles?
It's exactly why. I don't like going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just, okay, that came out wrong. Because sometimes I like going up and down, up and down, up and down. But when I'm watching TV, I do not.
Yeah, on a roller coaster, different story.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I think John thinks his mic's on.
Yeah, I totally thought my mic was on. But it's great because I didn't interrupt you in any way, shape, or form.
It's true. Okay, well, let's, you know what? We'll mention a couple of that Amanda. She actually filled out too. So we'll at least mention them. Amanda's excited for Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches. This is January 8th, so it's already out on AMC Plus. Alexandra Daddario joins the world of Gothic author Anne Rice and the Mayfair Witches as Dr. Rowan Fielding, a neurosurgeon, who realizes she is the heiress in the Mayfair dynasty, a line of powerful witches haunted by something sinister. So am I right in assuming that because of Interview with the Vampire and this, they're trying to walk away from the Walking Dead universe? Now they're going to be the Anne Rice universe? Is that what I'm getting?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But that the Walking Dead universe was still good to go.
Well, they got what? Rick and Michonne is coming out in 2024, and they've got the new, who is it?
Walking Dead, the Cool Kids.
Walking Dead, the Cool Kids. And they've got Maggie and Negan. Apparently they're buddying up, doing their own Lethal Weapon, I guess. So yeah, well, I guess that's that's all they're going to have now. They're going to have Anne Rice. They're going to have Walking Dead.
See, and this is why I won't give that V show a shot. I mean, I'm not going to go back to The Walking Dead in any way, shape, or form, but this whole idea of constantly going back to the well on the one thing that works, we got to stop.
Do we? People watch it.
Give us better options.
But here's the thing. If people watch it, they're enjoying it. It just because John doesn't enjoy it, or just because Aaron doesn't or Troy doesn't mean that other people are watching it. Let them have it. Well, they like it.
Criminy, like
those
Grey's
people are
Anatomy
dumb.
and Survivor are still in the top 10 for ratings.
I hate these shows, but people love them. They love NCIS in every city that's ever been known. They love or what's the stupid Chicago Med, Chicago
Fire, Chicago Ho.
Have you ever been to Chicago?
PD?
None of that heroic shit ever happens. I'm telling you right now. We live right by it. Me and Troy too, and I promise you, it is never that heroic, and none of them look like that work there.
More importantly, I work right across the street from where some of the actors live in the set.
Do you really?
Literally across the street.
Go over there right now. Like, just grab the microphone and walk on over there and just start knocking on the door.
When I work. I'm not working right now.
Oh, at work. Take a microphone. Go do one of those man on the street interviews. Just walk on over there and see what's going on.
We'll put it on Patreon. We'll be doing more Patreon whoring.
What else did Amanda have? Amanda also has The Power. Naomi Alderman adapts her own electrifying novel. I assume Amanda copied this because I can't imagine her writing that, which imagines a world in which women suddenly gain the power to hurt or even kill simply with their fingertips, into a nuanced study of gender dynamics for Amazon Prime with Toni Collette and Daniela Vega in starring roles. So, of course she likes that one because it's basically women get to kill us with touch.
Well, I've known a lot of women in my time who usually try to kill me with their fingertips.
With that 5-finger Kill Bill thing?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
5-finger death punch?
But the one I think that's the most exciting for Amanda, and I'm really disappointed that she's not here to talk about it.
Wait. So are you speaking for her at this moment? You like a show you want to mention, so you threw it under Amanda? Is that what you're doing right now?
No.
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing.
This one would have been totally the one that Amanda would probably have geeked out on the
wanted
most.
to talk about. This one.
She really wanted to talk about this one.
That's why she
because
didn't
it's a
write
young
it down.
adult series. That's up Amanda's alley. Follows 4 teenagers, Everett, Blake, Luna, and Harlan, and they all realize that they are turning into werewolves.
What is it?
And it's called Wolfpack, and it's actually a supernatural teen drama that was developed by Jeff Davis of Teen Wolf. But the big thing about this particular show is that she's not hunting vampires anymore. She's now hunting werewolves. Yes, Sarah Michelle Gellar is back in the Wolfpack.
I think she does have that one. Yeah, she does.
Coming to Paramount Plus.
I'm going to say that Amanda wasn't nearly as excited about this as Troy was.
I mean,
I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, great. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but with werewolves.
It sounded like you lactated a little bit. I mean, you sound really, really excited.
I was trying to sell it for the audience.
Great job. I am sold. I want to watch it.
Oh yeah, I'm so in. I'm in like Flynn.
If everybody wants to see Sarah Michelle Gellar get a werewolf.
What?
Okay, that's going to be edited. So have a nice day with that.
Wow.
And you have to go to Patreon if you ever wanted to hear what he said.
Right. So that's an awesome line that I didn't cross and Troy did.
Hey,
Spike.
dude, not twice. Okay, that's a lot of work on my part. Let's move into my list. God. Jeez.
You're Aaron right
Stop
now.
it. All right, we're moving on to White House Plumbers. David Mandel is the executive producer and showrunner of Veep, directs this HBO series, which comes out in March 2023 about Watergate goons E. Howard Hunt and G. Gordon Liddy, who will be played by Woody Harrelson and Justin Theroux. That's all I need to know. That's it.
Yeah.
Justin Theroux.
Yep.
All the way.
Judy Greer's in it too, which is awesome. So is Kathleen Turner, by the way. So that looks fun.
That's a lot of.
She's a badass.
That's a big names there.
A lot of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
That's coming on. Which one?
HBO Max in March.
Oh, it's canceled already then. Too expensive.
They swore they're done getting accent shows, by the way. And this is a limited series, so it doesn't matter. But they swear they are done with the axing. They've cleaned their slate, which means Warrior will live. Thank God. I hope that comes out this year too, but I can't say for sure. That's why it's not on my list. But please come back. I love that show. Let's see. So next up, Love and Death. 2 church-going couples enjoy...
And robots.
What?
Robots.
No, it's not robots.
No, this
I know
it's a different show.
It's a different
John.
show,
Different
John. It's not the one you want to watch. It's the one I want to watch.
Oh, I'm bad. My bad.
Yeah. Love and Death. 2 church-going couples enjoy small-town family life in Texas until somebody picks up an axe. Elizabeth Olsen is Candy Montgomery. And yes, there was a Jessica Biel show that did this recently, but this looks better. Patrick Fugit, Jesse Plemons, HBO Max, spring 2023. I just want to see some crazy axe business.
Is this the Jennifer Beal one that was it Candy?
Yep.
So is it the same story? Is it the same story or is it just a different take?
But I believe it's the same story.
It sounds like I prefer to watch HBO Max, so I'll just wait for that before actually starting Candy because there's so much to watch anyway.
Okay, well, here's something that'll get people excited, all right? Masters of the Air. 5 miles above the earth and deep behind enemy lines, 11 men inside a bomber known as the Flying Fortress fight for their lives against swarms of enemy German fighters. As American bombers are picked off one by one, their mission becomes very clear: to survive. This is an Apple TV Plus show starring Austin Butler, Elvis fame, Barry Keoghan, who's just picking up a lot of steam the last year, and then it's from the Band of Brothers writer, and of course Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg are producers. This is a return to form. HBO Max got the option and they didn't want to pay for it, so Apple said, we'll give you the money, and they said, all right. So this is in their Band of Brothers wheelhouse right here.
Yeah, this is something that I'm really, really, really excited
Holy
about.
shit,
I
John's
love Band
alive.
of Brothers.
Okay. All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I actually have this on my list, so I'm now having to go find something else to replace this with. However, I do really love the Band of Brothers. Both the seasons are great seasons of television, and just to see that they're doing something else in more or less the same sort of vein, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what they do with this.
Can I ask you a question before Troy chimes in?
Yeah, what's up?
Do you read the fucking format?
No, I was multitasking when I was working on the format, and I was
Bumble does not
like,
count as multitasking. That's not the same thing.
Yes.
No,
it totally does. It
doesn't.
totally does. You should see this girl that I'm talking to. Yes, it does.
I don't care. Put it down. Podcast. Jesus. Troy, do you want to see this one?
Podcast is overrated. I put down the phone, by the way. I stopped doing it in the middle of the podcast.
I definitely appreciate that. And apparently, just for context, people that are listening, we had very specific rules. Nobody repeats anyone else, and we already had a list that way. It's all variety. And John's entire list is stuff that was already used by someone at some point. Like the whole list. All of it.
So for all those ladies that are looking to actually be with him on Bumble, he just copies other people's moves.
Hey, look, other people do it better than I do a lot. So, yeah.
I recommend 40-Year-Old Virgin. Okay, so the next one is The Palace. Palace tells.
Wait.
Oh,
yes,
sorry, I'm sorry.
I do want to see. I do want to see Masters of the Air.
Okay, why do you want to see it? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
One, because it's Apple TV Plus, and most of the stuff on Apple TV Plus has been like I feel like there hasn't been a miss on Apple TV Plus. Now, granted, there's not a lot of content, so justifying the cost on a regular basis seems a little bit challenging. But if you like, hey, there's nothing on all the other services, and I want to take a flyer for a month, there's not a lot of bad content on Apple TV.
They do have a lot.
Which I did start Shining. I started Shining Girls, by the way.
Did you finally? How many episodes in are you?
3.
So you're starting to see kind of what's going on then?
Yeah.
Because it takes a couple before you really, really start to.
It's cool. I like it.
Okay, well, the next one is The Palace. The Palace tells the story of 1 year within the walls of the palace of an authoritarian regime as it begins to unravel. And this is a Kate Winslet starring and producing show for HBO, which is why I'm ecstatic, because Mare of Easttown was one of my favorite shows. So
this isn't like a continuation thing. It's just that it has Kate Winslet.
Yeah, it's the same character. She she stopped being a cop in like the East Coast and ran over and decided to join an authoritarian regime. So that 3 times real fast.
Well, everything else is in the same universe or a prequel or a spinoff, or I just wanted to,
the Kate Winslet universe. She floated over across overseas on that goddamn door that she killed Jack on. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Last one. This is, I think, something up both of your alleys. Mrs. Davis is an upcoming American science fiction drama TV show from Damon Lindelof and showrunner Tara Hernandez that's set to release on Peacock. The series stars Betty Gilpin as a nun using her faith to take on technology.
Amen.
The series is set to premiere on April 20th, 2023. So you've got Damon Lindelof, which I will agree you should be a little hesitant about because there's a good chance the ending will suck. But Tara Hernandez is a good showrunner. Betty Gilpin is a great actress. I can't wait to see what happens.
But it's on Peacock.
That's the only, but so is Poker Face, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And that's Ryan Johnson. You're winning me over to Peacock with a couple cool shows.
But then you got to pay the $5 so you don't get the commercial.
Those commercials are like that, like 2 minutes at the beginning, right? Isn't that all their commercials are?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, son of a bitch.
It's like watching linear TV.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It really is.
I got to drop $5 to watch Poker Face.
You do.
The only difference is between that and linear TV is that it really is the same 2 or 3 commercials every couple minutes.
It's like old Hulu.
Oh my God. Well, son of a bitch, this is really going to change my list a little bit, but I'll have to suffer for Poker Face at least.
Oh, it looked really great all the way up until I realized I was going to see commercials. God damn it.
We can all agree that we're done with commercials, right? That's not just a me thing. I'm done.
Yeah. Embed the product placement in the show wherever you want. Just don't interrupt the story. Give me 1 commercial or 2 commercials when it starts.
Don't do that
Give
either.
Me a commercial when it ends, but do not interrupt the flow.
Yeah. You could have an Apple phone or an Apple laptop or a Windows tablet. I don't care about that.
Driving your Ford Mustang and drinking your Coke and eating a Subway sandwich and...
You're making me sad because the last time I saw anything like that, they made it so obvious it was ridiculous.
That's what I heard. No, that's when you're watching Osaki.
Osaki.
All right. John, what do you got? You know, and I hope Troy repays the excitement you paid him with your list. So please go ahead.
All right. So you know what? People should be
Hate it.
People should be really impressed because, or at least they would have been really impressed until now that I'm looking at it again. I might have talked myself out of that. However, we have up front.
Is the first one that you were going to read something that was already taken? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
At one point in time. No longer that way, but
Right.
Yeah, it's no longer that way. The first one is Shrinking. It's on January 27th at Apple TV Plus. A therapist who's played by my favorite person in the whole wide world when it comes to new things, Jason Segel, who needs to be in a lot more things, grieving from the loss of his wife, begins to break his own rules and tell his clients exactly what he thinks. Hijinks, of course, ensue and bring massive changes to his clients' lives. I really want to see this. What about you guys?
This was on my list until I noticed that Aaron had it on his list and erased it versus just stealing it directly.
I had it on there first, buddy, because I was the first one to have a list.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't see your list. I added it to mine. Mm-hmm. I went and looked at yours and said, "Oh crap, Aaron's already got it." So I removed it from mine. John just blatantly said, "No way, man, it's mine."
Yep. Yeah. I went back. We had a whole conversation in the chat, John, about how I've already taken Shrinking, and like if you want, I'll go ahead and take. And Troy's like, no, and John just goes ahead and says, "All right, well, I just want it." So if I just commit to it, then Aaron will have to remove it from what he's excited about.
Hey, you guys know I've been busy the last week. I've barely been paying attention to your
That's
chat.
obvious.
How many times did I pop in? How many times did I pop into the chat going, "Hey, do I need to read all this?" And you guys turned around and go, "Yes," and I was like, "Yeah, nice try. I'm gonna go back to doing what I was doing instead."
Well, I'm really excited about Shrinking. I think it sounds great. So great, it was like near the top of my list had I had one that wasn't destroyed.
Hey, you know what? Next time I'm just going to start going to your list and start deleting stuff out of it.
That wouldn't surprise me. How come I don't have anything? This is freaking weird.
What happened to my list? I don't know. Why has John got everything I had on it?
I mean, what'll be interesting on this one is to see how Harrison Ford plays into it. But the fact that it's, written by Segel, it's got Bill Lawrence, Scrubs fame, Brett Goldstein, Ted Lasso fame. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could put wallpaper and just stare at the wallpaper, and it would be funny with these guys writing behind it.
Let's go. I'm in.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty great.
What else you got?
All right, to follow that up, we have sometime this year, at some given moment, the only really fun character we've seen on a Disney Plus show in a while. That's a lie. That's not true. But Echo is getting her own show. Maya Lopez must face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community if she ever hopes to move forward. This is something that I really enjoyed, and we're going to see Alakwa Fox and Charlie Cox in this. Charlie Cox will be dipping in and out of this show, which the kind of character she is, it just makes sense to have Daredevil on there too. I was really happy to see how Daredevil has changed when he left Netflix and came to Disney Plus. He's a different character and a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, imagine that. Marvel made him quippy. Didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah. He made him kind of light and so much less broody. It's weird, crazy, right?
No, it's not really like the character, but that's fine. It worked. Just saying. I knew Daredevil pretty well. He's kind of a dark character, but it is what it is.
That is. All right. So, anyone have anything they want to throw in on this?
It's a Marvel show, right?
It's a Marvel show, but I really dug that character because they did a lot of stuff of how they played with sound and how that kind of contributed to the atmosphere in her world, and I really want to see more of that. So that it could be very interesting. It really could. Yeah,
for sure. Now something else that I have been waiting. I think like 40 years for. I don't know. History of the World Part 2 on Hulu. is coming out this after the original History of the World Part 1, they had that trailer for History of the World Part 2, and I've just been waiting forever. But we're going to see some more of these hijinks in the vein of Mel Brooks, and I can't wait. What do you guys think about Mel Brooks and History of the World Part 2?
I'm awesome. Like, I can't wait. It's like my entire lifetime waiting to see what's going to happen with this. And it's going to star Brooks. It's going to have Wanda Sykes. It's going to have Nick Kroll. I mean,
Ike Barinholtz.
Could be good.
I'm a little afraid to see Mel Brooks running around on a set, because he's 107.
He's kind of old. Yeah. I mean, it's great that you guys are excited about this. I am not. I just... What? Yeah, I have zero interest in this whatsoever. I won't even watch it, probably. I didn't like the original movie.
James Cameron can release Avatar 13 years after the first one, but this is 40 years in the making, and
for me,
like, History of the World Part 1 is amazing.
You could make 6 of these and I wouldn't watch any of them because I didn't like the first one. So
the jig is up. The jig is gone.
Yeah, it didn't work for me. I'm glad you guys loved it. Then you'll be excited. I hope you get what you want out of it while he's trying to recapture that from 1981 when that reference is really not here anymore. But I didn't really like that movie to begin with. So
he's definitely a eunuch. He's definitely a eunuch. He's dead.
It's going to be interesting to see like what they can actually use and get away with in this culture today.
That is going to be the most interesting part of this, to see what they can get away with. But it'll be interesting to see how much Mel Brooks can push that envelope. And that's one of the reasons why I'm excited about it, is because we get to see Mel Brooks do something or attempt to do something that he hasn't done in eons. And what he always did was push the envelope as far as what is appropriate. So, yeah, I'm ready for it.
Did you talk about Ironheart?
What, Aaron?
Sorry.
Aaron?
You were still talking about this nonsense, and I just stopped carrying. I fell asleep. I apologize. And I'm also texting your girl on Bumble. She's fine. She's okay.
If I miss out on the opportunity on this one, I'll be upset.
You'll be
I think you missed out on the opportunity to talk about Ironheart. Didn't you want to talk about Ironheart?
Oh, did I just go right past Ironheart? I did just go right past Ironheart. Yeah. You know what? I still haven't seen Black Panther 2. I keep on hearing bits and pieces of it, but Ironheart's coming out sometime in the fall.
You just wanted to do that. Finish your thing.
Riri Williams, who created the most advanced.
She was okay.
Yeah. She created the most advanced suit of armor, which I thought Iron Man created the most advanced suit of armor, but she really created the most advanced suit of armor. But this is the most advanced since Iron Man. So it's based off of the Marvel comic character. She was in Black Panther 2. I've heard good things about her. And it introduces Anthony Ramos as Parker Robbins, the Hood, an ally of Ironheart's.
Love him in the Heights. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Parker Robbins, the Hood, Robin Hood.
Maybe, Trey. I don't know. You're trying to connect them.
I don't read these comics, man. I don't.
Leave it to Troy to try to force the dad joke down our throat. Talk about getting Jesus.
The world is going to have to go to Patreon if they ever want to hear what you guys are talking about. All right, what's next, John?
Right. All right. Finally, based from the universe of our friend Mr. John Wick, Sir John Wick, depending on what side of the word you're on, The Continental comes out sometime this year. The Continental, a chain of hotels located all around the world that function as a neutral territory for members of the criminal underworld. They are frequented by hitmen and notorious murderers. This is going to be starring Mel Gibson, Colin Woodell, Peter Green. We're going to get to see more of that John Wick world, which Granted, I know I said at the top of the show, I'm tired of seeing things constantly revisited, but this seems like it could be different enough where, sure, it's related, but it can actually create a really deep and engaging story.
I still say like 10 years from now or something that we're going to find out that the protege was actually part of this universe. Like we found out that Split was part of Unbreakable.
I mean, it's possible. I don't think they're connected at all, but you are getting Ballerina next year, I believe. Anna de Armas as Ballerina.
Yeah.
So there will be more John Wickness. And we'll be talking about John Wick when we go to the movies.
Can I get a Wickness?
Do you? Jeez. All right.
We're shoving dad jokes now.
I kind of want to applaud that one. That one was actually pretty good. Do you have any more? Is that it?
Oh, that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can steal from other lists while you guys are talking. So
we're good. We're going to returning shows now. So returning shows or reboots or sequels that you're excited for. You know, what about you, Trey? Is there anything coming out this year that you're really pumped for that is just getting another season?
Oh, yeah. Roy Kento comes back this year. Can't wait.
Frickin' Roy Kento.
Yes, Ted Lasso season 3 is coming. Probably the most excited thing I am for at this moment that's returning is You on Netflix, season 4. Of course, they're doing it in 2 parts, one part in February and one part in March. That sounds like a continuation to me with a weekend off, just so I could pee. And then also Handmaid's Tale season 6, Mrs. Maisel season 5, Severance season 2, so good. And we will get the final season of Million Little Things this spring. So that'll be a really good close up. And the last time we'll see James Roday for a while, unfortunately.
You know, You is getting, he's being stalked this time. Joe's being stalked.
Yeah. But what?
Oh my goodness.
The tables have turned.
I know, and he's in England somewhere.
What?
Yes, he followed the librarian girl, I think, from the 3rd season.
Yes, she's known as the librarian girl. Absolutely.
Wait, well played for a show that you're so excited about. The Librarian Girl. I'm not going to tell you what her actual name is because it completely slipped my mind, but The Librarian Girl.
It's because it's that problem of you watched all like 9 episodes in one weekend and then you don't remember what any of it was.
I'm going to see your Librarian Girl and raise you guy with gray hair and a sword guy.
Witcher?
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah, see, that's all we need to do. Like everybody knows what you're talking about. Why use real names?
Liam Hemsworth.
You know, he goes,
Liam Hemsworth is going to, he's the Witcher. That's what I understand.
No, that's the 4th season.
I don't care. That's the one I'm looking forward to. I don't care about this year. I want to see the Hemsworth years.
You are not funny.
I am this season still Henry Cavill?
Yes.
This season should still be Henry Cavill.
Are you excited to see what they do? Like if they do, where at the very end of the final episode, he's holding his sword and they do like a face swap while he's standing there. He's like, now it's a Hemsworth. What the fuck just happened?
Is it like Masters of the Universe? He sticks the sword in the air and changes?
Well, no, it's going to be more like he gets his face lopped off and then they have to replace it by magical means and he turns into a Hemsworth, which is not going to ever be nearly as good as the real face or his first face. So,
I mean, Liam Hemsworth's a handsome fella. Okay, tell us about why are you excited about the last Cavill year?
I don't know. It's The Witcher and it's Cavill and I'm still hurt by what DC has done to me this year.
Didn't you say you didn't finish season 2?
No, I finished it.
But you complained about it.
No, I didn't.
He complains about a lot of things.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
So doesn't mean he doesn't finish it.
Fair enough. Anything else you're excited for?
I did not complain about it.
Did. Check
he
the tape.
complained about North Carolina all the time, and he finished it.
It was probably, you know what?
State?
I was in a different place. I was in a different state of mind and a different state, and I was a different human being for that time. So I wasn't appreciating or enjoying things like you people. And I do mean you people as much as I should have been.
Fair enough. So anything else you're excited about before I throw mine in?
Oh, yes. On January 20th, the crew of Vox Machina comes back to Amazon Prime, and I'm so excited!
Everybody raves about it.
But they're continuing their adventures in Alexandria, and it is going to be nuts. This is all based off the podcast Critical Role, and it has all the characters from the first couple of campaigns from the Critical Role, and it is going to be so much fun. I'm excited. I know what the story is already because I've started listening to the podcast, and if you want a good podcast to listen to that is more of a story-based thing, this is a good sit.
Well, do you think they do you think they picked the 20th because it's roll 20 for D&D?
Yeah, 120, because it's either a 1 or a 20, so you either critical fail or critical succeed.
Right. I like that.
And then Reacher season 2,
Dick.
there's a possibility of it airing sometime in the summer or sometime spring, because they did start recording the show back in September. It is in post-production at the moment, so sometime during the spring or summer is when they're expecting to have it released.
Can't wait. It'll be a great summer show. It'll be so good. Well, on that note, Justified City Primeval, I am stoked for. That's inspired by Elmore Leonard's City Primeval High 2 in Detroit, where Raylan Givens is back. That's right, Timothy Olyphant is back. Raylan Givens and his cowboy hat find themselves in Detroit pursuing a criminal known as the Oklahoma Wild Man. Now, I don't care what it's about. It's Raylan Givens and he's back on the case. And it's I'm sure we're going to get some past players popping up here and there, but you're not going to get Walton Goggins as Boyd Crowder. It's going to be a new henchman, which is good because I want that story to stay resolved. So this is its own thing.
Instead of Dexter coming back, and just should have left Dexter alone and then revived Dexter completely differently, like this is doing.
Sure.
Or like Bosch.
I don't know why Dexter is part of this, but it's like Bosch Legacy. Bosch Legacy is kind of its own thing now.
Yeah. I was looking for a show that was similar.
Yeah.
There you go. So Bosch Legacy was a better option.
I'm not watching the full season of this. I'm watching the full season of the original show.
Right. Watch the first. You only have to watch the first season of Justified.
Right.
Also, Night Court, the reboot is coming. I'm curious how it's going to be. And I'm kind of curious. You guys know Night Court, and John Larroquette's coming back. It's still going to be a network show, but you know it's going to be a lot tamer. Do you have any feeling on that?
I mean, I suppose we have to be fair. Like, if we're excited that Mel Brooks is coming back for History of the World, we should be excited that, people are coming back for Night Court.
Not necessarily.
That's the thing that...
Not necessarily. If you weren't excited, you're not excited.
Well, I mean, I'm excited because I'm interested to see what they do, but I'm also like terrified because it's a completely different era and it's network TV.
The thing you have to remember on Night Court is that, was it a little racy for being network TV in the 80s?
Yes.
Yes, it was a little racy for being network television. However, the thing about Night Court that made it work the most was the amount of heart that it had, because for such a offshoot, crazy little show about a courtroom, it was the heart that really kept it going, and not necessarily the raciness, because those characters for the 80s evolved with the show, and that didn't happen a lot.
Well, this new version has Melissa Rauch from Big Bang Theory. She's Abby Stone. She's playing the daughter of Harry Stone, and it's bringing back Dan Fielding, John Larroquette, but he's going to be older, less Lotharius, less bumblified, and we'll see if this works. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also so nervous because Night Court is my favorite network comedy of all time. So, fingers crossed. Also,
I wonder if they're going to find a way to bring back Richard Mull and Marshall Warfield.
I'm sure they'll work it in at some point. They'll be there.
Because I think those are the only two survivors left.
Yeah, you have to. Honorable mentions I want to mention. I want to mention Rabbit Hole. Kiefer Sutherland lands at the Taylor Sheridan Network of Paramount Plus in a story as John Weir, a master of deception in the world of corporate espionage, who is framed for murder by the most powerful of people. Looking forward to that. Coming out March 26th.
It's the president, isn't it?
It's gotta be.
The most powerful of people. They're just going to go down that rabbit hole again.
That rabbit hole? See? There you go. It's the name of the show.
See, Troy? That's how you do it, you fucko.
Anybody else have an honorable mention before we move on? We got to get going to the listener picks.
What about Amanda? What does Amanda got?
She's not here.
Oh, she's not here.
She's excited for Sex Education, Shadow and Bone, coming on March 16th on Netflix, and Bridgerton.
You're excited for Bridgerton?
No, Amanda is.
That's Amanda excited for.
No Fatal Attraction? Because there's a Fatal Attraction show coming on. I figured you'd want that too.
Oh.
Also on the Taylor Sheridan Network of Paramount Plus. They should just call it the Yellowstone Network.
Such Education is going to be a great show. I still haven't caught up with that last season, but it is a show that I will say that I love very much. So
it is good. It is good.
Okay, well, before we move on to our listener top 10, I got to mention Devotion, because you can bring Devotion home right now on digital. Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell star in the epic and inspirational story based on true events of two heroic U.S. fighter pilots whose sacrifices made them the Navy's most celebrated wingmen. You can buy Devotion on digital now, packed with behind-the-scenes bonus content. It's available at all participating retailers. It's rated PG-13 from Paramount. And I got to say, Jonathan Majors, he's going to be Kang the Conqueror. You got Glenn Powell, was just in Top Gun Maverick. This is some star power on the rise. And once again, you got planes, man. Fun, you got action. It's exciting. I can't wait to see this. Now we go to our listener top 10. All right. Now, a lot of these are ones that are coming back. Good Omens Season 2. That's right. The boys are coming back there. We don't have dates on most of these. Star Trek Picard Season 3, the final season. This is number 9 on the listener poll. I do want to...
Season 3, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I just wanted to ask you about that. You're a big Star Trek guy. They just said that Picard might not be... Season 3 might not be the last season.
Yeah, they said Season 3 was the last season. And then they said, Season 3, well, there's some things that, we could leave it open and maybe come back with some other stuff if people really want to do it.
How do you feel about that?
It sounds a lot to me like they're expecting Patrick Stewart to pop off anytime soon.
Jesus.
The original plan was 3 seasons, so this is the first end of this trilogy. Whether there's more after this, we'll wait and see.
All right. Number 8 on our listener poll, Yellow Jackets Season 2.
Yes.
Yeah, you love that one, right? The first season?
Well, I love the first season until the very end when the last episode became very predictable. And there was stuff that happened like in the very first episode that didn't happen in the finale. So I'm excited to find out like how the stuff in the first episode finally plays out, because now I feel like that's like a Game of Thrones thing where they drop something at the very beginning that won't play out until the very end, because it had my hopes up. But I like the story. I like the storytelling structure of it. It's pretty good.
All right. Well, my number 1, that's actually on the listener poll at number 7, so I just held off because it's already on a list, is Poker Face, which comes out January 26th. It's a Rian Johnson show. Rian Johnson did Knives Out, Glass Onion, Looper, a lot of other stuff, Brick. Charlie has an extraordinary ability to determine when someone is lying. She hits the road with her Plymouth Barracuda, and with every stop encounters a new cast of characters and strange crimes she can't help but solve. This is like right up my alley. And it stars Natasha Lyonne as Charlie. I don't love Natasha Lyonne. I think she's good. I'm really hoping that this works well. I don't know. Her voice is so raspy. Nobody else is excited about Poker Face? Just me?
It's on.
Yeah,
it's on the Peacock. I don't.
Then I'm gonna watch Peacock. It's just the way it is.
It's like the redheaded stepchild. It's the one you don't think about.
Okay.
I use Peacock all the time. I got Peacock running daily. It's I got Dateline on the rotation constantly while I'm working.
Is that on Peacock? Dateline is?
Dateline is, yeah.
You probably have a designated Dateline channel too, right? On there?
It is.
You just make sure he doesn't show up on Dateline himself.
What?
Or is that 48 Hours? I forget which one you're trying to like not show up on.
Is that was
Unsolved
Chris
Mystery.
Hansen's show?
You're trying to not show up on any of them.
Yeah, I don't think there's a good occasion for you to show up on one of those, Troy. I don't know what you're trying to say here. I don't know where your joke
he's
was
watching
going.
it to make sure he doesn't show up on it. Is the key.
Yeah, right. If it's Cops, Dateline, or 48 Hours, or any of those, and you show up on it, I got bad news for you, pal.
It's a bad day. Bad day. All right, let's get through these. Number 6, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Boy, wouldn't it be better if it was Star Wars, Strange New Worlds? If like you had...
No, because you had Star Wars written here and I had to change it the other day because I was like, who the hell can't copy and paste from the Facebook group?
Because I type it, man. I type. And a Star Wars. Just think if you had Pike was in Star Wars, that could be like a perfect combination, right? No?
Pike could be Darth Plagueis and we can get the High Republic and it would be great.
See, there you go. All right, number 5, The Mandalorian Season 3, which comes out March 1st on Disney+. No surprise there. Number 4 is Loki Season 2. I have zero desire to watch.
Who wanted
Loki.
a second season of that?
I don't. Ugh, I did not like that show.
I thought it was good for one and done. I don't need another one to that one.
Number 3, Agatha, Agent of Chaos, Winter, Disney Plus. It was Agatha all along, the witch we love to hate, played by a wry Catherine Hahn, who was in WandaVision, is now getting her own spinoff. We don't know much about the plot, but what say you? This is number 3. Are you guys excited about Agatha, Agent of Chaos, getting her own show?
No.
Damn it.
I am.
Okay. All right. Whoa. John's excited about anything. Let's hear this.
Yeah. John has a pulse. I thought she was the best part of Vision and the Scarlet Witch show. As much as I enjoy those two characters, I thought she was the one who made the show for everyone because of the way Catherine Hahn played her, because of the scene chewing, overacting, just the ability of just drawing you in that Catherine Hahn has. I'll watch just about anything she does.
But it's a TV show. Like, just put her in the movie, make her part of the phase 4, phase 5, whatever phase we're in, and make it better.
Yeah, I don't.
Because the phase right now sucks.
I don't think she's a person that should have, or a character that should have their own show. I don't. I think she's a great secondary character. I don't want her to be a lead. But I enjoyed the character a lot, so I'll wait and reserve judgment until I can actually see the show.
Unless she's going to turn into something like, be part of the Thunderbolts or something.
Which is a possibility. Yeah, that's all a possibility. But I also, if I remember correctly, Audrey Plaza is going to be showing up in this as a character as well. So she is somebody else who I find to be entertaining to watch on screen. And
I bet you do.
Seeing these two bounce off of each other will be a lot of fun.
All right, number 2 in the listener poll, Secret Invasion, another Marvel show. The story involves a subversive long-term invasion of Earth by the Skrulls, group of alien shapeshifters, you saw them in the Marvels and other stuff, who have secretly replaced many superheroes in the Marvel universe with imposters over a period of years prior to the overt invasion. And that's coming out in...
So it's Body Snatchers meets V?
Sure. It's coming out in 2023.
Pretty much.
This is one where I think this could be great. On the same token, I think it could be awful, because is this just going to be a nostalgia bomb where they just find an excuse to bring back characters? Is that what it's going to be?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's look, Steve Rogers is here.
Yeah, or it's going to be the best Marvel thing that happens, and people are going to be so marveled out no one watches it.
Could be. Sure.
Yeah, this will be their way they can bring people back that they want to bring back. Like, you know what? Tony Stark was actually off on another planet this entire time, and the Tony Stark we saw was a Skrull playing him.
Actually, Tony Stark's still alive in that other universe because we still are in the multiverse phase, so...
Already making my head hurt. Okay, number one, with a bullet.
The only show that matters.
This is
in all of 2023.
By a landslide. By an absolute landslide. The Last of Us, HBO Max, January 15th. It should be out very shortly after you hear this episode. In a hostile, post-pandemic world, Joel and Ellie, brought together by desperate circumstances, must rely on each other to survive a brutal journey across what remains of the United States. What shocks me about this one is it's based on a game, and people are just ecstatic about this show, and I am convinced most of them that I've talked to have never played the game. So it's kind of shocking to me how excited they are about it.
Because
I've never played the game.
It's not a game. This story is an event. Like, you could watch the story on YouTube right now.
I have.
And yeah, Aaron has, because he didn't finish the game. Like, it's the video game is secondary. The content of what they've done in this series, Neil Druckmann and the folks at Naughty Dog, it's just, I tend not to replay video games because video games are like, 40, 80, 100 hours long. I've replayed Last of Us more times than I can think of at this point because the story is just that good. That good. And we have officially been told that the first season will be the first game.
Yes. Yeah. And they
including the extended content that they had for the first game.
And if they do another season, it will only be up to the second game. So they're not going to go past the story elements that are already existing.
Yeah. They will not go any further than what game material has been produced.
Correct. Now, Troy explained why he is excited. Why are you excited, John? Because you've never played the game.
That's a really good question, now that I think about it.
Pedro Pascal? Is that why? Or
That has a lot to do with it. Pedro Pascal has become one of my favorite actors these days. And also the little girl who would eat everybody from Game of Thrones or scare the crap out of everyone from Game of Thrones, who can just be a one-man army of her own. She's someone who I want to see what she's capable of on a different level than just what she did in that show. And it's something that's going to be different. It's going to be separate from some other IP that I'm very well connected with. I didn't play the Witcher games. I didn't read the Witcher books. I enjoy the Witcher show. I'm supposing that there's a chance that I will enjoy this show like I do Witcher.
I want, at some point, Pedro Pascal to look at Ellie, who is the girl in the show character, and just say, life is good, but it could be better. That's all I want. Nobody? It's sad. Okay.
It's not in the game. I don't know why they would say that.
Because it would be funny. I would laugh. All right.
It's not a funny show. The world is dying.
You know what? If it was on Disney Plus, Marvel would make it funny. They made Daredevil jokey. So I think they would. I want to see the Disney Plus version of this now. I want to see where Joel is just a jokester. He's making nothing but jokes.
Last of Us, the comedy edition.
Yeah. The laugh of us. That's what I want to see.
Okay, that's tonight's show, everybody. We got to go. Have a good night.
That's it for the TV releases. We're going to move into some spoiler-free reviews. Before we do, I want to remind you that Patreon, that's where you can find the video. We have bonus show, Bad Movie Night. We got apparently John's new show that he's going to be trying out is going to go on there. So check that out. Patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Amanda Sink is joining me for some reviews of Megan, The Pale Blue Eye, and Skinamarink. But just in case you don't care about any of those, John, Troy, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, man, we have several reviews, so let's start with the one that's just lighting up the box office, which I'm really happy that people are actually going to movie theaters again. It's kicking 2023 off with a jolt.
What?
Yeah, and that is Megan, or Mithrigan. Mithrigan?
Mithrigan.
M3GAN.
Yeah, and it looks like it is already overperforming at about $30 million from its $12 million budget. So horror movies are still doing all right.
Still the best option for people trying to get their movies out. Yeah, in theaters.
M3GAN is where a robotics engineer at a toy company builds a lifelike doll that begins to take on a life of its own. This is directed by Gerard Johnstone. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this, Aaron, because we've had so many movies that are similar, at least on the surface, about creepy dolls. So how does this one differ at all from, let's just say even Chucky?
It doesn't.
Okay, cool. Great.
Same movie as all those. Yeah, I've got a personal rule, and I've had it for years. If you get a doll that comes home and it gives you even a slight uncomfortable feeling, burn it. If you look at it and it's a little creepy, why is that in your house? I don't understand. Unless you're inviting the devil in, that's on you. So burn it. Whatever happens, just burn it. Literally, just burn. I don't understand why that's not the first thing that happens 15 minutes in every one of these movies. But this is actually taking a more modern look at it. It's not like Chucky, where demons are inhabiting it. It's a little bit like Deadly Friend from the 80s, which I think a lot of people probably haven't seen, but it's a Wes Craven movie where Christy Swanson is this woman who dies and basically her boyfriend brings her back and with a microchip in her brain. So this isn't a live person, but it's robotics. So they're using modern day technology and creating advanced AI. Think
Westworld?
Yeah, think Westworld, sure. Ex Machina would be a good example, where you have the robot that it's learning about the world, and it's advancing, it's understanding, it's relating, it's kind of coming to its own life, its own maturity, its own life force. And it's doing that through advanced and evolving artificial intelligence. And that's what they do. And then they give it a creepy rubber face to make it look real. But the performance is a real actor under that creepy face, so it's kind of unnerving in that way.
Well, at least it has something going for it. And one thing that it does have going for it that I would say at least, and I hadn't even seen it, so you tell me if I'm wrong, but Violet McGraw is a child actress who starred as young Nell in The Haunting of Hill House, if you remember her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's essentially playing like this AI doll's best friend, right?
Yeah, she's the human companion. What it is, I guess I didn't even explain what the hell the plot was, but
what's a plot in a horror movie? What's a plot?
Yeah, I mean, really, like, demonic doll kills people. She's Katie. She's a little girl whose parents are killed in a car accident, and then her Aunt Gemma, her mom's sister, takes her in. And Gemma is played by Allison Williams, and she has zero idea how to relate to a child. She has no idea because she's always been kind of single, and she's very tech addicted. She's like most of us, right? Constantly has her nose in her phone and whatnot, always on her iPad, always working, that kind of thing. And she takes in this little girl who has needs and wants and has mental struggles because her parents just, died. And Gemma has no idea how to cope with that. She's also working on this project of basically creating a partner for children, a toy that's more than just like a Furby, which is, she develops these fake pet creatures that are AI enhanced, which are very much like Furbies. That's why I mentioned that. But her dream is to create this full life robotic friend for children. And it relates to them. It pairs with them. So it's literally like once she aligns to this child, the child and the doll are connected. They are, she is only the one that can control her. And if she can control her, because obviously, where these kind of movies are going to go. And eventually, it plays very much on how parents kind of allow technology to parent their children and forget to do the actual parenting. I'm not pointing
That's
fingers,
an interesting
but you know who
call out.
You know who you are. Yeah, I'm not trying to call you out if you're listening, but you hear me, right? Screen time.
We're
Limit
watching you.
Screen time. Well, the technology's definitely watching you. So the Katie gets more and more connected to Megan as Megan gets more and more defensive about protecting Katie. And keep in mind, like, as the movie rolls on, the doll is actually doing what it was programmed to do. It's just nobody was smart enough to watch RoboCop and give it some prime directives.
So it had a lot of vagueness.
Had a lot of what?
So it had a lot of vagueness in terms of its directions.
Yeah, it needed more parameters,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and to answer your question, Violet McGraw she actually did a very, very credible job of playing a kid I both felt sorry for and wanted to bounce down the stairs.
Oh, wonderful!
So a real child.
That's what we like, right?
Mm-hmm. Not literally. Figuratively. This is fiction. Come on.
Yeah, we don't need to have CPS investigate you, Aaron. All of a sudden, there's a scandal on the news about the Hollywood Outsider. We went viral! Finally.
There you go.
And we've also got Allison Williams, and I just want to touch base on that, too. In terms of the parents' role in the film, do we get a lot of that, like that perspective, or is it mostly told from the child's perspective?
Oh, no, it's mostly told from Gemma's perspective, actually. I mean, there's a good mix, but I mean, we're really following Gemma because Gemma's the one that's noticing, hey, man, I feel like a lot of bad things are happening to people whenever this doll's around. That is wild. Could it have been the doll? I don't want to think
what
that.
What a coinkydink.
She should probably think about it more because, legally she's going to be liable when this movie's over. Oh,
that's an interesting topic. So
yeah, that would be a great sequel. Gemma, financially ruined.
I love the subline on there. So overall, what are your feelings on M3 Megan?
I'm glad I love these kinds of movies because they are ridiculous, and I feel like you know what you're going to get. And the trailer is very upfront that this is also it's funny without being campy. It's really playing with things and being very, very straightforward. I kind of wish the third act was a little bit more batshit insane because it's written by the same writer that wrote Malignant. So I was kind of expecting it just to go full bonkers, but it's pretty by the numbers. Kelly Cooper is the one who wrote it, but It's entertaining. It's ridiculously entertaining. I was very, very surprised at how good it was and how well they actually made the attacks or the subtlety of the attacks work in the scope of It's a Doll. Because typically, if it's like a Chucky movie, I have no fear of Chucky. Kick him. Well, like, really, what's so hard about this frickin' guy? It's not that hard. He doesn't run that fast. He's like 3'2". Kick him. He's not going to get you. This is a robot. It has strength. It has intelligence. It has dexterity. So to me, there's a lot more to it that is a little more threatening. So it works. And it's definitely, the movie understands exactly what it is. And Gerard Johnstone, who directed it, keeps it pretty tight and moving. And also, I like the undercurrent of parenting in today's market of everything's about technology. Nothing's about actual parenting.
Awesome.
Yeah, I said it.
So if the full price of admission were $10, what would you pay for Megan?
I give Mithrigan $6.50.
That's pretty good, pretty decent score. It's above average, so worthwhile
Absolutely.
to check
Go see
out.
it. And when the theater was packed, it was nice to see. The theater was packed. Absolutely packed. Now, we both saw a Netflix flick that just recently arrived from Scott Cooper, who's done Hostels and several other films
Black
with
Mass.
Christian Bale. Yes, Black Mass as well. And this is called The Pale Blue Eye. And it's about a world-weary detective who's hired to investigate the murder of a West Point cadet. And there's a code of silence that these cadets have, so he's trying to get through that, and therefore he enlists one of their own to help unravel the case. A young man the world comes to know as Edgar Allan Poe. Stars Christian Bale and also Henry Melling as Edgar Allan Poe. Christian Bale is Augustus Landor. Amanda, you and I have both seen this. What did you think about his performance as Landor? And, overall, this idea of incorporating Edgar Allan Poe into a murder mystery that's very reminiscent of A Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, I loved the performance, and I felt like the two had a lot to play off of each other, where Christian Bale is essentially operating as like a Sherlock Holmes, and he knows there's something different about this individual. He brings it up to his wife as well, like, this person, and everybody has wonderful things to say, but it's like there's something a little bit off with this guy. And Edgar Allan Poe kind of comes off, his character from Henry kind of comes off definitely, I wouldn't say subtle by any means. If you're watching the film, you're like, what? Well, this seems pretty overt in terms of his demeanor and the way he kind of slides himself into the investigation. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciated that from, the perspective of setup. And I really enjoyed both of them working together and how they played off of each other. What about you?
I really enjoy their dynamic. Christian Bale is one of those actors where I don't care what it is, I can watch him in it. And he's made some movies where I'm like, okay, the movie's not great, but his performance is strong. Amsterdam is a recent example. He was fantastic in Amsterdam. The movie sucked, but he was fantastic. He's always an actor that gives his all. And Henry Melling is playing Edgar Allan Poe, which is, I think we all know the poems, and we know the vibe and his obsession with death. But I really kind of appreciate how the film paints it as a more romanticized view of death. And it's intriguing. And the performances are really what sell it, because otherwise the pacing is a little slow.
Yeah, I would agree with the pacing concern.
I'm going to segue to that, because here's a thing I have with Scott Cooper. I think Scott Cooper is a director that in my mind, has a habit of getting almost there. And what I mean by that is he seems to have some really cool ideas. He gets really good performances, but he has yet to make a great movie. He's gotten great performances. Crazy Heart, Hostels, I think has several great performances. This has very good performances, but he never makes a great movie. And I don't know why that is, but he almost gets there. Antlers had good performances, but the story kind of at the end. So that seems to be a trend. And I feel like that's also kind of prevalent here, because I felt like while I enjoy where the story went, I feel like the execution made it very predictable, in my opinion. What say you and all that?
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree with that. And I feel like if I had to try to narrow in on what it is about Scott Cooper that has an area of opportunity to improve on, is some of those tension building sequences. I don't feel like we really get enough of that to propel us forward, and especially when he makes these longer films. For whatever reason, his movies always end up feeling so long to me, both by the runtime and also by the progression of the story. And I feel like if he would have had more investment in building those, I don't know, just tension sequences, I guess is what I'll go back to, it may have been a better movie overall, and he would probably have better success overall as well. I do want to point out, though, some of it is pretty cool in terms of the story. Like, they did try to pull, obviously this is fabricated, this is not a real instance that happened with Edgar Allan Poe, and but they did pull.
What?
You didn't know this about him?
I thought this is real, man.
But I do like that they took
solved the
one
murder.
little string that most people didn't know, which is that he really did attend West Point and tried to create something out of that, but also keeping it within the world that Poe had created, because the pale blue eye is in a lot of ways an homage to this poet, this writer, and the story and fabricated characters that he had made. So I really do respect the direction that this story was taking from like a writing perspective and how they interweaved a lot of that. It just really felt like there was not enough to maintain your investment throughout the film. It was so easy to just fall asleep.
That's not the best endorsement right there, right? Once you get to the nappy time.
It's just hard to continue to remain engaged. Did you feel that way, or is that just me?
Yeah, I mean, it has one of those, I want to make a gothic murder mystery, which is something I love. I'm
For
a big
sure,
fan
absolutely.
of any murder mystery, really, but I love the gothic nature of it, and especially, when you have it's just the cinemascape of white snow on a dour pasture or that sort of thing. Like it just visually, it always engages me. And even in those moments, even when he's putting clues together, the scenes are too elongated. Like they needed to be tightened up to really make it flow. And once again, it's direction where I think visually it's beautiful. I really think this is probably the most visually stunning film he's done.
Agreed.
I just, once again, feel like he just can't get there. He just gets so close and can't get there. Great performances across the board. You got Robert Duvall who shows up. He does nothing and still, is captivating. Gillian Anderson's in here, and she is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Okay, can I say something about this performance, though? I have to interject. Sure. I love Gillian Anderson, but I've never felt... I shouldn't say never. I rarely feel with an actor that they're acting like someone who's so well established and rounded and all of that. But for whatever reason, her introduction to her character and the accent she had, it just made me feel like I'm watching Gillian Anderson act. It didn't make me feel like I was watching her character perform in this movie, if that makes sense. And I'm sure I'm going to be alone in this feeling and this thought, but it did strike me.
I don't think so.
It was something that I actually made a mental note of, which was very surprising to me.
She was over the top. She was. But in a movie where everybody is very dour and kind of melancholy and
yeah, that's fair.
Just looking at everything very, very grimly, she was a light of, like, she's having way more fun than anybody else in this cast. I enjoyed that, and it made me chuckle. Plus, she does a great British accent. And she's not technically British, although I think she's pretty much British now. She's become their own kind of royalty. So, but I liked her performance, but I don't disagree with what you're saying because I totally saw that too. So if $10 is the full price of admission, what do you give The Pale Blue Eye?
I'd give it $6.
Okay, I'm $5.50. I just, it's so close. It just can't get there. I mean, yeah. And I think once you watch it, you'll know what I mean by it becomes very predictable. I can't I don't want to give anything away, but like there's a moment where something happens and then you still have a good portion of the movie back. And you're like, all right, I know exactly where this is going. And I felt like that was too bad.
That is too bad.
Yeah. All right. We got one more. Skinamarink.
All right. So for Skinamarink, which is a film that Aaron saw, two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. It's directed by Kyle Edward Ball. My first question, because we have to talk about this, and I know child actors are a thing for you. I should rephrase that. That was a really bad way of phrasing that. They're not a thing really for you.
Nope, not at all. Don't make it weird.
You are very critical of child actors, and they can make or break a film for you, is the impression that I really feel like I have. And because this seems to center around these children, are they essentially the leads for the whole film? And are they able to carry an entire film?
This is... Okay, the child voices, that's really all you hear is child voices. They are perfectly fine. They're perfectly suitable. They work very, very well. They're unnerving and whatnot. What I want to stress to anyone thinking about checking this out, because there's been a lot made about this movie from the festival circuits. It debuted at Fantasia last year. I think it hits theaters January 13th, and it's going to be on Shudder later this year. This is a very experimental film. Like, very experimental. It's an hour and 40 minutes of experimental. There is never a shot in the film where there are actors in the frame doing things that you can understand. It is shots of cabinets, doors, under the bed, roaming around the house, trying to make the house feel alive, but not by really showing much of the action happening, only by being ominous, little hints here and there. I can tell you what I think is happening that's very much what this kind of movie is. It's going to leave you with, what do you think happened in this movie? Because the general public is going to hate this. The general public will not like this. This is very much for people that appreciate experimental film, and they love an idea probably more than the execution, because the idea here is extremely interesting. I don't think it's a very interesting movie. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And
I'm not exaggerating. Like there are actors in here, but you never ever see anyone's face. Not once. Not once do you see anyone's face clearly, except for maybe an apparition or a hint or whatnot. And you'll never see a full body in frame. You'll see kind of silhouettes, and you'll see kids standing there, but you never see the kid's face. You just see like the silhouette of the whole body and stuff. And they run around, and you hear the feet pitter patter through the house, and you'll hear ominous voices calling to the children, and the children going. And to me, very much it comes across as this is inside a child's mind, and there are elements of child abuse, I would say, possibly a child dying, maybe experiencing the death of himself. There are a lot of elements that I don't want to tell you what to think. I'm just giving you hints of kind of where my brain went.
So reviews on this are a little mixed depending on where you look at it. Rotten Tomatoes has 90%, IMDb has 5.3 out of 10, and Letterboxd has 3.2 out of 5 as of right now. Definitely a low budget film, and it sounds, and from what I can see, looks like you get a little bit of that visual too. That definitely confirms the low budget. But where do you think the disconnect is in critics from our IMDb and Letterboxd, or even just the? Is it just that
super easy?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's because it's very experimental, and like I said, your typical audiences are not going to like it. They are not even going to make it probably more than 20 minutes into the movie. And that is not an exaggeration. It is a hard watch. It is not entertaining by the very definition of the word. By the word. Or the world. I don't care, whichever way you want to go with that. It is not an entertaining film. It is something that you either want to pay attention to and see where it goes, or you don't. That's the bottom line. I felt like there's a lot of interesting ideas here. There were a lot of moments where I was unnerved. I kind of got the gist of where it was going and what was happening, but I can't call it a good movie in good conscience. And and I just want to be as honest as I can to listeners, because if they think, well, Aaron said that it was, no, I want you to know, if what I described does not sound interesting, you will hate it. That is literally the movie. 100 minutes of shots of different areas of the house and voices happening and things happening that you can't see clearly, that you just have to kind of use your imagination for. That's what it is. It's like a picture book without many pictures.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there was... So even when films leave an open-ended conclusion in that final act, there's always still a conclusion-ish to the story that was presented in front of you. You feel like you have some sort of resolution, even if it's just, I'm painting the picture of what this conclusion looks like. Do you feel like you really got a well-rounded story? Because at least by the way you're describing it, it sounds very disjointed and almost just like it was a filmmaker trying to, I don't know, showcase new filmmaking techniques and put it together as a film, put it on display as a film.
Yeah, it's an art project. I wouldn't call it. It's more like 100 minutes of a painting. You're looking at the painting, and it's one of those. What do they call it? The painting, the work where you stare at it. The longer you stare at it, you get the visual behind it. That's what it is. It's 100 minutes of that. This is someone who has a very specific idea in their head, but it is very abstract. And if you do not understand abstract art, you are not going to understand or appreciate this movie. Simple as that.
Interesting. And it sounds like we really can't even talk much about casting because you don't really get you don't get any solid performances.
Cast. Yeah. There's no performances.
That's really kind of interesting. From the standpoint of a low budget film and somebody putting out to have some sort of recognition and be picked up by Shudder, for a film that has no performances and all schemes of reality, that's kind of fascinating to me that it managed to get where it's gotten.
Great shots of Legos happen pretty frequently. So there's that.
Interesting.
Because it's random shots around the house. Some little things happen. You just have to you can't play on your phone and watch this movie. You can't. And like I said, it's very experimental. I don't think most people listening will probably enjoy it.
So if the full price of admission were $10 on Shudder, what would you pay for Skinamarink?
I give it 5 because I really like the idea behind it. But execution wise, I'd probably give it a 2. It's just, I get hung up when I feel like something is at least trying to do something different and tell a story very, very differently, which is definitely what it's doing. I just don't think most people are going to enjoy what it's doing.
And what the hell is the title? What is Skinamarink? Do you know?
Google is your friend. I don't want to do anything that ruins the movie.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay, remember, you can share your thoughts on this episode or anything else in our Facebook group or on Twitter @BuyPopcorn. Our website is TheHollywoodOutsider.com. Rate and subscribe on your preferred podcast app. You can find John's artwork on Insta and at Twitter @RJohnDraws. Amanda on Smirk and @SinkIntoThis on Twitter. Troy @TroyHeinritz and The Blacklist Exposed. And me on Presenting Hitchcock and @AaronSmirks. We will be back next week with a look at movies. And remember, the next time you go to a theater or stream comfortably on your couch, buy popcorn.
Because they would go to a theater to watch a TV show.
They've done it.